Fine. Good morning. In the last class, we were discussing about the concept of condensation. We discussed three mechanisms: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Condensation and precipitation. We discussed what are the factors which are impacting evaporations, and then we discussed various type of condensation like dew, like fog, like frost. We also discussed smog. We also discussed cloud formation. So those things we have discussed with regard to condensation, and then we started with the concept of precipitation. Fine. So where do we see more evaporation? Where you are going to find more evaporation? At the oceans or at the land? At the oceans. Where the rate of evaporation will be more higher? In the fresh water, rate of evaporation will be more higher. Clear? Evaporation will be more when pressure is more, or evaporation will be more when pressure is less?
When pressure is less.
Yeah, evaporation will be more when pressure is less, and evaporation will be less when pressure is more. Fine. So those differences we have discussed with regard to evaporation. Then finally we covered what? We covered various factors which are affecting the evaporations. One of the factors we have listed down is what? Wind speed. Which kind of wind can cause more evaporations?
Oh,
Which kind of wind can cause more evaporations?
wind.
We discussed hot wind. First condition is wind. Then dry wind, whose relative humidity is what? Less, and high velocity wind. Clear? So that wind will cause what? That will wind cause what? More evaporation. For example, we discussed which wind? Which wind causing low evaporation? Which wind causing high evaporation? Loo. Loo. Yes. Okay. Loo, that is okay, blowing in the summer month in case of northern plains of India, causing what? Causing more amount of evaporation. Fine. So these are the concepts we have covered. What difference lies between a photochemical smog and sulfurous smog?
It contains high amount of sulfur and it contains more amount of nitrogen.
Yeah. For photochemical smog due to NOx, that is nitrogen oxide, while that is because of sulfur, that is sulfurous oxide. And what other differences you have? One occurs in summer, another occurs in winter season. Another difference?
It caused due to the industries
Yeah.
pollution.
Yeah, one is caused due to the burning of coal, one is caused due to vehicular emissions. Fine. So those differences we have covered between whom? Those differences we have covered between smog. What is the difference between haze, mist, and fog? What differences you are finding between haze, mist, and fog?
Smog is a combination of smoke and fog.
Fine.
And it, like the clarity, the visibility will be very less.
Okay.
And the smoke.
And what is fog? What is mist? What is haze? What is fog? What is mist? What is haze?
In fog, we have less amount of moisture.
Yeah, fog, less amount of moisture, but water droplets are more dense. That's why visibility is less. While in case of what?
Mist is completely opposite to the fog.
Yeah, mist, you'll have more moisture. Mist, less what? You have more moisture, but water droplets are going to be small. More water droplets are going to be there, but these are going to be small in nature. As a result, visibility is going to be what? Visibility is going to be high. In mist, visibility is going to be what? High as compared to fog. Fine. Lastly, we discuss what?
Types of rain.
Yeah. Lastly, we have covered the types of rainfall. So we discussed types of precipitation. One is convectional. Second is orographic. Third is frontal. And fourth is cyclonic rainfall. Cyclonic rainfall. Fine. So these are the four type of rainfall, and we also discussed the forms of precipitation. What is forms of precipitation? Snow, sleet, yes, freezing rain. We discuss also hail, water. These are the various forms of precipitation. Fine. So last class we have discussed regarding two type of precipitation. One is convectional precipitation, another is orographic. Convectional, where it is dominating, where there is a high heat, intense heat is going to be there. So it is dominating in equatorial region. As equatorial region get intense heat, and as a result, convectional current rises up. Which type of clouds are going to be formed? Vertical cloud, cumulonimbus cloud, and that's why you see rainfall in this region. As you go up, temperature declines, and temperature declines, so cooling and condensation will happen, which will result in a rainfall. In India, we discussed this causes which type of shower? In India, we discussed this causes pre-monsoon shower. In India, we discussed this causes pre-monsoon shower. Fine. Orographic, as we discussed, it occurs when wind are blocked by the mountain, and wind are forced to rise up. As a result, you saw the rainfall is occurring. So this causes which type of rainfall? Orographic rainfall. Fine. So these two rainfall we have discussed. For example of orographic rainfall, we discuss is what? Your Western Ghat region, where you see lot of lot of wind are being blocked, and when wind are being blocked, you see coastal region receives more amount of rainfall. Fine. We discuss Aravallis do not blocks the wind. As a result, Aravalli region do not receive much of rainfall, and deserted areas are there. Fine. So those examples we have discussed with regard to orographic. Third, we are coming to the frontal rainfall. So what is frontal rainfall? Frontal rainfall. So frontal rainfall are occurring due to formation of fronts. It is occurring due to formation of fronts, and this front is formed when two contrasting winds are converging. Fine. So what is frontal rainfall? This rainfall occurs due to formation of fronts, and this front will be formed when two contrasting winds are converging. Fine. So if you remember, we discussed that there is a colder wind coming, which is west easterlies. It is coming from which region? Polar region. And there is a warmer wind coming. This is westerlies, which is moving from where? From the tropics region. So from subtropical high pressure belt, you see westerlies are originating. From polar high pressure belt, you see easterlies are originating. These two converge in a subpolar region, subpolar low pressure belt region. These two winds converge. So you know that one is what? One is warmer wind, so it is going to be less dense. Another is what? Colder wind. Colder wind is going to be what? More dense. Colder wind is going to be what? More dense. So warmer wind is less dense. Colder wind is what? More dense. Fine. As a result, what will happen? As a result, what will happen? We discuss more dense wind will what? Yeah, stay in the surface, while warmer wind will be what? Uplifted. Clear? So as a result, you see colder region, colder wind will remain at the surface, while warmer wind will what? Warmer wind is less dense, so it will be uplifted. Warmer wind is going to be uplifted. Fine. So this warmer wind is now uplifted by the colder wind. Clear? As you go up, what will happen? As the wind is going up, what will happen? Temperature will what? Decreases. When temperature decreases, what will happen? What will happen? You will see condensation, cloud formation, and this will result in what? This will result in rainfall. So here what will happen? Condensation happens, cloud formation happens, leading to what? Leading to rainfall. Fine. So when two contrasting winds are converging, the warmer wind is going to be uplifted by whom? Colder wind. Why warmer wind will be uplifted by the colder wind? Because warmer wind is less dense, colder wind is more dense. So as a result, less dense will go up and more dense will remain at the bottom. As the less dense wind is going up, what will happen? As you go up, temperature will decline. So when wind temperature will decline, moisture there will condense, cloud formation will happen. As a result, you'll see what? You'll see rainfall. So cloud formation is happening. As a result, you see rainfall is happening in this region. So this type of rainfall is referred as what? This type of rainfall is referred as a frontal rainfall. Fine. The last type of rainfall is what? The last type of rainfall is your cyclonic rainfall. Now cyclonic rainfall is occurring due to what? It is occurring due to formation of cyclones. This type of rainfall is occurring due to formation of cyclones. Fine. There can be two type of cyclone. One is temperate cyclone, also referred as extra tropical cyclone, and another is referred as a tropical cyclone. So rainfall that occurs due to formation of cyclone is called as what? Is called as a cyclonic rainfall. And the cyclonic rainfall can be of two types: temperate cyclone, extratropical cyclone, or the tropical cyclones. Fine. So these are the different types of precipitation that you are seeing. So where the frontal rainfall will dominate, where the frontal rainfall will be dominating, we discuss in higher temperate region. In higher temperate region, this type of rainfall is going to dominate, because you will see where these winds are converging. These winds are converging in a higher temperate region. So westerlies are moving like this, easterlies are coming like this. So they are meeting in a higher temperate region. So that's why more rainfall, more type of frontal rainfall happens where? Happens in a higher temperate region. And where do you see more of cyclonic rainfall? Wherever cyclones are going to be formed. So generally cyclones are formed between 10 to 30 degree latitude. In this latitude, either you'll see formation of tropical cyclone, or generally between 35 to 60 degree latitude, where you generally see formation of which type of cyclone? Temperate cyclone. So temperate cyclones are generally formed in this latitude, while the tropical cyclones are generally formed in this latitude. So depending upon where it is formed, you'll see either frontal rainfall or you'll see either cyclonic rainfall. Fine. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So what is precipitation? What is rainfall? When ice crystal becomes much bigger, when ice crystal in the cloud becomes much bigger, they, under the influence of gravity, starts to come down, and this is called as what? This is called as a rainfall. Different type of rainfalls you'll see. One is due to convection, one is due to orographic, that is mountain, one is due to frontal, which is due to converging wind, and one due to formation of cyclones. Fine. Now we have written there are various forms of precipitation also. Like there is a snow, like sleet, freezing rain, hail, and water. Clear? This rain can come in these forms onto the earth. Now basically, when snow will form, when sleet will form, or when freezing rain will form, and what is the difference between this? For this, now this is what you are finding. So when you see a snow, when you see a sleet, when you see a freezing rain, and when you see a rain, these are the scenario when you are going to see all these forms of precipitation. Fine. So what happens in case of, okay, the snow? So what happens in case of snow? What you see is this cloud contains what? This cloud contains ice crystals. This cloud contains what? Ice crystal. When these ice crystal comes down onto the earth entirely through colder atmosphere, then you are going to what? Then you are going to get a snow. Clear? So snow means the ice crystal which is, okay, there in the cloud, when they become bigger and starts to come down towards the earth, but these ice crystal travels through what? Travels through the atmosphere, that is colder atmosphere. So by the time they reaches to the earth, they do not melt, and when they do not melt, you'll see what will happen. the snow is going to occur. Clear? So generally where you'd see this entire colder atmosphere, generally in the polar region. Generally in the polar region, because polar region you see 6 months of day, 6 months of excessively cold atmosphere is going to be there. So when entire atmosphere is colder layer, and the ice crystal is coming through this colder layer, they will reach to Earth's surface in the form of what? In the form of nothing but snow. Fine. When sleet will form when a small warm layer, when the small warm layer is sandwiched between whom? Sandwiched between two colder layer. So this is a colder layer, this is a colder layer. So when small warm layer is sandwiched between two colder layer, then you'll see what? Then you'll see the sleet is going to form. So we have discussed phenomena of temperature inversion. No? Temperature inversion means what? Colder layer followed by what? Warmer layer, and then as you go up, what is happening? Temperature is declining, so colder layer is going to be there. Fine. Now here the ice crystals start like this, but by the time they enters into warmer layer, what will happen? All these ice crystals are going to melt. They are coming in which form? They are coming in the water droplet form. They are coming in which form? They are coming in the water droplet form. Now when this water droplets enter again into colder layer, what will happen? It again starts to freeze. It again start to freeze. And when this type of things comes onto the ground, this is referred as what? This is called as a sleet. This is called as a sleet. Clear? So in snow there is no melting happening. In case of what? In case of sleet, what is happening? Ice crystal first will melt and again refreezes and comes in the form of what? Comes in the form of sleet onto the surface. Fine. When you have a bigger warmer layer, so this type of scenario is generally seen in a higher temperate region. Higher temperate region, you are going to see this type of scenario. Higher temperate region, you will see the warm layer is very small. Near to the polar region, when you see higher temperate region, you will see a small amount of warmer layer is going to be there between colder layer, and that's why you see formation of sleet. Fine. Now when ice crystals are there and these ice crystals comes to the colder layer, then by here big warmer layer. Now warmer layer that is there is much bigger than this warmer layer. Clear? So when you have a bigger warmer layer sandwiched between two colder layer, what will happen? Then you're gonna see concept of which type of rain? Freezing rain. So when you have a bigger warmer layer sandwiched between what? Sandwiched between two colder layer, then you're gonna see which type of rain? Freezing rain. So here ice crystal will starts to come. When ice crystal goes through the warmer layer, it will change into which type? Water. This comes in the form of water, but when it is traveling to the colder surface, since colder surface here is small, rather than this colder surface, so here when this water is traveling, what is happening is it is ultimately freezing. It is ultimately freezing in the air itself, so that it becomes a sleet. But here the water is not freezing in the air, rather when it reaches to the ground, then it freezes. When it reaches to the ground, then it freezes. Then that's why it is called as which type of layer? Freezing layer. So you see rain falls and freezes on the cold surface. When it hits the ground, it hits the cold surface, then it freezes. Fine. So this type of rain is referred as what? This type of rain is referred as a freezing rain. Lastly, you have what? Lastly, you have a normal rain. Normal rain, when you have ice crystal coming through what? Warmer layer. This is a warmer layer. Then ice crystal will melt. This will melt and this will come down onto the earth's surface in the form of water. Then it is going to be called as what? It is going to be called as a rain. Then it is going to be called as a rain. Clear? So this differences lies between various forms. Various form, that is snow, sleet, freezing rain and rain. Fine. So when no warmer layer, it is going to be what? Snow. When a short warmer layer is sandwiched between colder layer, then it is going to be what? Sleet. When a big warmer layer is sandwiched between two colder layer, then it is going to be called as what? Freezing rain. And when there is when there is a much warmer layer and this ice crystal travels through the warmer layer and reaches to the earth's surface, then it is going to be called as what? It is going to be called as a rain. Fine. Now there is one more thing which is called as a hail. What is hail? What is a hail? So hail is when ice, okay, what ice particles, when ice particle or ice crystals comes down onto the earth surface in the form of ice in the, okay, what, in the warmer areas. Let's say this is, okay, what, this is the earth surface. Let's say which type of clouds are being formed. Vertical clouds are being formed. Which type of layer it is there? Generally warmer layer only. So you'll find which layer here is a warmer layer only. But this vertical cloud, you know, that contains which type of crystal? Ice crystal. This will contain ice crystal. Now when this ice crystal will starts to come down, it is traveling through this warmer layer itself. It is traveling through the warmer layer itself, but this warmer layer is very small because this cloud is formed very close to the earth's surface. So as a result, whatever ice crystals are there, they will not fully melt. They will not fully melt and hit to the ground in the form of ice. When they hit the ground in the form of ice, we call it as what? We call it as a hail. We call it as what? We call it as a hail. So sometimes you see when rainfall happens in India, some ice particle, okay, comes down. Why this ice particle comes down? It is hail. So hail occurs in a warmer region. Hail occurs in which type of region? Warmer region. When it is occurring, when this ice crystals, that is clouds, are formed very close to the earth's surface. When they are formed very close to the earth's surface, ice crystals are, though traveling through the warmer layer, do not fully melt and hit the ground on in the form of ice. Then we are going to call it as what? Then we are going to call it as a hail. Fine. So just, okay, write down, just make this diagram and just write down regarding, okay, these part. What is rain? What is freezing rain? What is sleet? What is snow? Just make the diagram. Make cloud over here. Just show this warmer layer like this, and just show how these things are being formed. These are called as a forms of precipitation. So hail, freezing rain, sleet, snow, and rain are referred as a forms of precipitation. Fine. Good. So any doubt regarding the forms of rain as well as types of rain? So types of rain, you have to keep in mind orographic rainfall, frontal rainfall, orographic, frontal, convectional, and cyclonic rainfall. What are the forms of rain? Forms of rain are rain, freezing rain, sleet, as well as snow. So freezing rain, just you write down that when the rainwater reaches onto the ground, then it freezes. Sleet, you write down that it refreezes into what? It refreezes into the air itself before reaching to the surface. And what is snow? Snow is basically your clear the things reaching to the surface in the form of what? In the form of ice only, because it is traveling through the colder surface. So what is the difference between, if question come, what is the difference between snow and hail? What will happen? What difference you'll say? What difference will you say if question comes? What is the difference between the snow as well as hail? Yeah, hail occurs when clouds are formed near to the surface, and the ice crystal are traveling through which type of layer? Ice crystal are traveling to which type of layer? Warmer layer. While snow occurs when ice crystals are traveling through the colder layer. Fine. So that difference lies between snow and hail.
What to write for, sir?
Hail, write down. These are formed when ice crystal from the cloud formed very close to the surface, surface travels through warmer layer but do not fully melt and hit the ground in form of ice. So this you can write regarding hail. Hail is what? These are formed when ice crystals form from the cloud form very close to the surface, travel through warm layer but do not fully melt and hit the ground in the form of what? In the form of ice. This is referred as what? This is referred as a hail. Clear? Any doubt in this part? So rain, freezing rain, sleet as well as snow. Over. So now we are moving towards what? We are moving towards the two terms which are thunderstorm as well as lightning. So before discussing the cyclones in detail, because cyclonic rainfall, we discussed why cyclonic rainfall occurs due to formation of cyclones. So how cyclones are being formed. Before discussing that, you need to understand these three terms. One is called as a thunderstorm, another is called as what? Tornadoes, and the third is called as what? Third is called as a lightning. Clear? What is thunderstorm? What is thunderstorm? These are referred as severe local storm. These are referred as a severe local storm. These are of short duration, but these are violent as it causes heavy rainfall accompanied by thunder and lightning. Fine. So this is definition for whom? This is a definition for thunderstorm. These are severe local storm. These local storm occurs for a very short duration, not for long time. These are short duration, but these are violent in nature, causes heavy rainfall, which are accompanied by whom? Which are accompanied by lightning and thunder. Fine. What is thunder means? What the term thunder means? We are saying accompanied by lightning and thunder. What is thunder means? Sometimes when you see rainfall is happening, sounds are coming from where? Sounds are coming. We say the clouds are what? Roaring. So sounds are coming from the atmosphere. That is called as what? That is called as a thunder. That is called as a thunder. And sometimes you see the lightning happens in the sky, and that is called as what? That is called as a lightning. Clear? So thunderstorm are which type of storm? Local storm. These are local storm, means they are not across a very wide area. These are concentrated to a small region. This is concentrated to a small region. That's why we are writing it as which type of storm? Local storm. We are writing it as a local storm, and these causes rainfall. Rainfall is heavy rainfall accompanied by thunder and lightning, and these rainfall are which type of? These rainfall are of short time, short duration, not for long durations. Fine. Now, the thunderstorm is formed when there is a heavy convection. When there is a heavy convection, it is formed when there is a heavy convection, and these have three major stages. One is called what? Cumulus stage, beginning stage. Then it is called as a mature stage, and the third stage is called as a dissipating stage. Third stage is called as a dissipating stage. Fine. So these are okay. What? These are formed in a region where there is a heavy convection going on. Heavy convection going on, and these are having three important stages, which are cumulus stage, mature stage, as well as dissipating stage. Fine. So what is cumulus stage? When any area is going to be heated, what will happen? When any area is going to be heated, what will happen? Air in contact will also get what? Air in contact will also get heated. So when any area is heated, when earth is heated, air in contact will also get heated. When air in contact get heated, what will happen? It will expand, rise up. This rising up of convection current, is referred as which type of stage? It is referred as a cumulus stage. This rising up of the convection current is referred as which type of stage? The cumulus stage. Fine. So what will happen is, when any area is heated, what will happen? Air in contact will also get heated. When air get heated, what will happen? It starts to rise up. When it starts to rise up, what will happen? Convectional currents are generated. When convectional current are generated, this stage is referred as which type of stage? Cumulus stage. Fine. The second stage is mature stage. Now, let's say this is Earth's surface. This is Earth's surface. This area is what? This area is heated. Now this area is also heated. This area is also heated. Here also you see convectional current are rising. Here also you see convectional current are rising. This area is also heated. Here you will see convectional current are rising. When all these merge together, becomes bigger, then it is called as what? It is called as a mature stage. Clear? When many local convectional current combines together, then it becomes what? It becomes a mature stage. That is okay there. Clear? Now, as you go up, what will happen? Temperature will decline. So when this convectional current are going up, what will happen? When this convectional current are going up, air is going up, what will happen? Temperature will decline. When temperature will decline, what will happen? Condensation is going to happen. When temperature will decline, what will happen? Condensation is going to happen. This condensation will create what? Cloud and rainfall. So that's why you'll see what? Heavy rainfall in a localized area. Clear? But when this will lose moisture, when the air will lose moisture, what will happen? Because rainfall is happening, air will lose moisture. When air will lose moisture, what will happen? This will start to dissipate, and this is called as what? This is called as a dissipating stage. Dissipating stage. This tornado or this thunderstorm is going to what? Going to dissipate, end. Why it is going to end? Because as the air will lose moisture, what will happen? no condensation is going to happen. No condensation means what? No rainfall. No rainfall means what? We'll say this has ended, dissipating stage has happened. Clear? So these are the three stages that you find with regard to what? With regard to what tornadoes. Clear? Any doubt regarding? You have mature stage, okay, more rainfall in a mature stage, and then what will happen? Dissipating stage means lesser, as rainfall will decrease, start to decrease. When rainfall will start to decrease, and we'll say that, okay, what, it is a dissipating stage. Fine. Any doubt regarding this one? So what we are saying is, when air gets heated, what will happen? Convectional currents starts to form because air is rising up. Convectional current will starts to form. This is called as what? This is called as a initial stage, cumulus stage. When many convectional current combines together, it becomes, okay, which type of stage? Mature stage. Here you'll see the cloud will form. Here you'll see rainfall is start to occur. That is okay there. And lastly, what will happen is when rainfall start decreasing because air loses the moisture, it becomes which type of stage? Dissipating stage. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So these are the three stages of whom? These are three stages of thunderstorm. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? Now, tornadoes is a kind of thunderstorm. It is a kind of thunderstorm. So tornadoes is what? It is a kind of thunderstorm that you are finding. It is a kind of thunderstorm that you are finding where the warm air mass is uplifted by whom? Uplifted by cold air mass. So it occurs where? It occurs where warm air mass is uplifted by whom? Uplifted by cold air mass. Clear? So where do you see warm air mass is uplifted by the cold air mass? Where do you see warm air mass is uplifted by the cold air mass? Where do you see it? Just now we discussed subpolar region. You are going to see westerlies, and easterlies are coming where? They are coming near the subpolar region, meeting subpolar region. So westerlies, which type of wind? Warm wind. And easterlies is which type of wind? Cold wind. So when warm air mass and cold air mass will meet together, we discussed just now which type of rainfall will happen. When warm and cold air mass, frontal rainfall. Yes, okay, we just now discussed frontal rainfall is happening when warm and cold air mass is something that is, okay, meeting. So warm air mass is uplifted by cold air mass, and this causes the short duration rainfall. Then it is called as what? Then it is referred as a tornadoes. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So that difference lies between thunderstorm and tornadoes. So tornadoes are kind of thunderstorm only, local storm only, that causes violent heavy rainfall accompanied by thunder and lightning for short duration, and this occurs when warm air mass is uplifted by the cold air mass. Fine. So this is basically what you are finding is the three stages. So you see cumulus stages where convectional current starts to form. When convectional current air starts to rise up, what will happen? This is going to be called as a cumulus stage. When many convectional current merge together, it forms a much bigger convectional areas. Then it is going to be called as which stage? Mature stage. And finally, when air will starts to lose the moisture, then what will happen? You'll see the cloud will dissipate. When cloud will dissipate, it is going to be called as which type of state? Dissipating stage. Clear? So these are the three stages that you find with regard to what? With regard to the thunderstorm. Any doubt regarding anyone? So just quickly make this diagram regarding cumulus stage, regarding mature stage, and regarding dissipating stage. When too many convectional currents, okay, combines together, this becomes bigger and it forms a mature stage. Clear? So tornadoes are less common in India. Tornadoes are what? Less common in India. They are more common where? They are more common where? Where westerlies and easterlies are meeting. They are more common where contrasting warm air mass and cold air mass are meeting. There you see tornadoes are something that are more common. Fine. Fine. So that's why you make it a question like that in India tornadoes are more common. No, in India which is more common? Which is more common in India? We have thunderstorm. We have more of which type of storm? We have more of thunderstorm because India receives more amount of sunlight. More amount of sunlight means what? More convectional currents are going to be generated. More convectional current are going to be generated. So that is what, okay, you're finding with regard to what? With regard to term thunderstorm. Fine. Clear? And there is a term that is okay used also, which is called as what? Which is called as a twister. There's a term that is used is called as a twister. Twister is a local name for whom? Local name for tornadoes. These are local name for whom? These are local name for tornadoes used where? Used in case of USA. Clear? So twister are what? These are local name for tornadoes which are generally where? Which are generally seen in USA. So you'll see some of the countries like USA, like Argentina, like Bangladesh. These are the countries which see more of a tornadoes. India experiences less of tornadoes. India experiences more of thunderstorm because of high heating, convectional current are generated. Instead of like this, warm air mass is uplifted by cold air mass. Instead of this, we'll have more of convectional current that is causing what? That is causing the local storm, that is causing the rainfall. Clear? So how do you define the term thunderstorm or okay what? How do you define the term thunderstorm or tornadoes? Thunderstorm are what? Thunderstorm are what? Yeah, these are short duration. These are short duration. These are local storm which are of short duration and causes the heavy rainfall with accompanied thunder and lightning. Clear? This is how you define the term thunderstorm. And when a warm air mass is uplifted by a cold air mass, when a warm air mass is uplifted by a cold air mass and causes what? And causes short duration heavy rainfall accompanied by thunder and lightning, that is going to be called as what? That is going to be called as a tornado. Okay, so what is tornadoes? When a warm air mass is uplifted by cold air mass and this causes short duration heavy rainfall accompanied with thunder and lightning. This is going to be called as what? This is going to be called as a tornadoes. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? Clear? Anyone having any doubt? So when warm air mass is uplifted by the cold air mass and this causes heavy rainfall of short duration accompanied by thunder and lightning, it is going to be called as what? It is going to be called as a tornadoes. And this tornadoes in local name, it is called as what? In tornadoes, it is in local name, it is referred as a twister. Fine. Can you see this question? What is the phenomena of cloud burst? This question has come when? In last year, 2024 means question. So we discussed last class definition for cloud burst. What is definition for cloud burst? When more than 100 millimeter of rainfall is going to happen within what? Within 30 square kilometer of area, then it is going to be called as what? It is going to be called as a cloud burst. Cloud burst is going to occur when? Which type of cloud is bursting? Cumulonimbus cloud. Okay, cumulonimbus cloud. Then you have to write what is the phenomena of cloud burst, that you have to keep in mind. Fine. Then you will also see can you see this one? What is twister? Why are majority of twister observed in areas around the Gulf of Mexico? So what is twister? Tornadoes. Okay, so it is a tornado. Why majority observed in areas around Gulf of Mexico? We discuss USA region. You'll see more of this one. So why you see majority of this on Gulf of Mexico? What happens? What happens? Yeah, so on the land side, which type of layer is going to on the land? Warm air. On the oceans, what will happen? Or Gulf of Mexico, colder air. So what will happen is meeting of this happens. So in here you'll see which I'll just show you one oceanic current diagram. Yeah. So here what you are finding is oceanic current diagram. This is a oceanic current diagram, what you are finding over here. Now if you see here, which current here is blowing? Where is Gulf of Mexico first? Yeah, this part is Gulf of Mexico. Clear? So this part is your Gulf of Mexico. Clear? Generally, which stream are okay here? Which stream? You see warmer current, and here which current is coming? Which current is coming? This Labrador current is which type of current? Colder current. Clear? So when air come in contact with the warm current, what will happen? Air becomes warm. When air comes in contact with the cold current, what will happen? Air becomes cold. So when warm and cold current meet, what will happen? When warm and cold air meet, what will happen? Tornadoes are going to be formed. So that's why you'll see more tornadoes are common where? Near the Gulf of Mexico region. So they are referred as what? They are referred as a twister. Clear? So this type of this type of questions you have encountered in the examination. That's why cloud. So that's why this cloud burst phenomena, you have to keep that in mind. It is constantly coming in news. Last year also it was in news because Himachal Pradesh, cloud burst was there in the Himachal Pradesh. So that's why the question has been asked. This year also we discussed the cloud burst was there in Uttar Kashi region. So that's why you are getting a question on cloud burst. You are getting a question on twister. So twister means you have to explain what tornadoes, and you have to explain about why these are more common in the Gulf of Mexico region, because warm and cold air mass are something that are meeting. Fine. We have studied these two concepts. Can you answer what are the aurora australis and aurora borealis? What are aurora australis and aurora borealis? We discuss in ionosphere. In ionosphere, some light are being observed. In atmosphere, some lights are being observed. These rolling lights are referred as what? These rolling lights are referred as auroras. Clear? So various layers we have discussed. So in ionosphere we have discussed what? When ionosphere we have discussed, auroras are being observed, rolling light are being observed, and these rolling light are referred as what? Aurora australis and aurora borealis. Clear? These rolling lights are referred as what? Auroras australis and aurora borealis. Clear? So that's what, okay, you are seeing also the question on aurora australis and aurora borealis. Clear? So these type of what? These type of questions you are going to get in the case of examinations. Fine. Clear? Any doubt? So remember the term tornadoes. What is tornadoes? What is tornadoes? Yes, warm air mass is uplifted by the cold air mass. Intense short rainfall, heavy rainfall accompanied with what? Thunder and lightning. These are going to be called as a tornadoes. And local name for tornadoes, as we discussed, is what? Twister. So question has been regarding twisters. Fine. Now another concept that you have is a lightning. So another concept that you have is a lightning. You have this concept which is lightning. Fine. What is lightning? What is lightning? So what you see is, this is Earth. This is Earth, Earth's surface. Now Earth is considered as a good conductor of whom? It is considered as a good conductor of electricity. So Earth is which conductor? Earth is a good conductor of electricity. Clear? What about air? What about air? Air is a good conductor or air is a bad conductor? Air is a bad conductor of electricity. Not very good conductor of electricity. Air is a bad conductor of electricity. What is electricity? Means charge flow. Charge is moving from one point to another point. So air is a bad conductor of electricity. But what you see is the Earth is a good conductor of whom? Earth is a good conductor of electricity. Fine. Now, in case of what? In case of 11th and 12th, you have studied about something called electrostatic. How a substance get a charge? How a substance get a charge? How a substance get a charge? For example, you have studied about something. If you rub a comb, and okay, after rubbing the comb, if you try to put this comb towards any papers and etc., small paper, it will try to attract. So why this comb is attracting? Because the comb has developed what? Comb has developed a charge, okay, which is referred as what? Which is referred as a electrostatic. So when you are rubbing anything, when you are trying to what? When you are trying to rub anything, what will happen? A charge can be generated. Friction can generate the charge. Fine. So you see in the atmosphere what is happening? You see convectional current are rising up. Clear? Convectional current are rising up. What will happen because of this? Because of this, you see clouds are being formed. This is cloud, and in cloud what you will see? Ice crystals are going to be formed. Fine. Condensation will happen. Ice crystals are going to be formed. Clear? Now, so these small ice crystals, because of the convection, are going up. These are small ice crystals, because of the convections, are going up. And we discussed when bigger ice crystals are going to be formed, then what will happen? When these ice crystals meet together, they will form a bigger ice crystal, and these bigger ice crystal under influence of gravity, what will happen? They will start to come down. Rainfall will happen. Clear? So when we discuss ice crystal becomes bigger, cloud is not able to hold it, and that's how you see nothing but okay, the rainfall happen. Gravity, under the influence of gravity, water starts to come down, or ice crystal starts to come down, which we call it a rainfall. So now here you are seeing two things. One is that this ice crystal, small ice crystal, which is formed due to air going up and condensation process. This is going up due to convectional current, and you see bigger ice crystal is something that is going to come down. So what will happen? Frictions are going to be there between what? Frictions are going to be there between small ice crystal and a bigger ice crystal. Clear? These frictions are going to be there. One is coming down, one is going up. So what will happen? These frictions are going to be there, and these frictions will generate charge. This frictions will generate charge. Clear? So charge means what? As we discussed, when an atom acquires a charge, when it either loses an electron or gains an electron. So either you can develop a negative charge. When you gains an electron, you develop a negative charge. When you loses an electron, you develop a positive charge. Clear? So as a result, what you see is what? As a result, you see this formation of charges are going to happen. As a result, you see formation of charges are going to happen. Why charges are being formed? Because frictions are happening. As a result, one material will lose electron, another will gain an electron, and because of this, charges are going to be developed in the atmosphere. Clear? Charges are going to be developed in the atmosphere. Clear? Now, let's say this is a negative charge which is developed. This is a positive charge which is developed. What will happen? When charges are going to be developed, what will happen?
Energy.
What will happen? You know that positive and negative are going to what? Attract, because unlike charges repel, unlike charges are going to attract each other. So this charge will starts to move, and flow of charge is called as what? Electricity. The flow of charge is called as what? Electricity. Because of attraction, they will start to move, and because of this attraction, what will happen? We'll say electricity is generated. This electricity is called as what? This electricity is called as a lightning. So when this flow of charge starts to happen, you'll see a spark is generated, electricity is generated. This spark is called as what? This spark is called as a lightning. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So when you see a charge will starts to move into the atmosphere, when charge will starts to move into the atmosphere, then what will happen? Lightning are going to be generated. Clear? And why this charge is moving? Why this charge is moving? Because of attractive forces. Clear? Why this charge is being developed? Because smaller ice crystals are moving up and bigger ice crystals are coming down, because of which what will happen? Frictions are going to happen, and because of this friction, you see charge are going to be generated. Fine? Any doubt regarding this one? That's why you'll see like this scenario. Now you will see like this scenario. One is okay, what? One is positive charges. Positive charges is going to develop, and you'll also see which type of charges are going to be developed. Negative charges are going to be developed. When this positive and negative, when this positive and negative attract each other, what will happen? Lightning are going to be generated in the atmosphere. But sometimes, as we discussed, Earth is also which type of conductor? Earth is a good conductor of electricity. So Earth also develops certain charge, that is positive charge. When this charge starts to attract, that is negative and positive charge starts to attract, what will happen? What will happen? Then we'll say lightning has strike whom? Lightning has strike the earth. So sometimes you see lightning strike of this attraction, you see lightning are going to what? Lightning are going to strike the earth's surface. Fine? Any doubt in this particular part? So this part you have to keep in mind, how lightning strikes the earth's surface. Fine? Fine.
Positive particles will be in the top.
The cloud in the cloud, positive part will be at the top, negative cloud will be at the bottom, and earth is also developing a positive charge, because of which attraction happens, and we say lightning has strikes the earth, or has strikes the earth. Fine. So you just make this diagram once. That bottom of the storm cloud becomes negatively charged, the top will become positively charged, after which what will happen? This attraction will be generated. Because of this attraction, we'll say lightning has strike the earth. Fine. Clear? So why this positive and negative charges are developing? This positive and negative charges are developing due to friction, as because of the convection, the smaller ice crystals are moving up, and because of gravity attraction, you see the bigger ice crystals are coming down. As a result, frictions are generated. So negative charge at the bottom, positive charge at the top, and Earth also develops this positive charge. When this attraction of negative and positive charge happens, we call it as what? We call it as a lightning. Fine. Any doubt? So this is what happens in the case of what? In the case of naturally, when you see lightning strikes the earth or strikes people, sometimes kills people. So why this lightning sometimes kills people? Because of this region. Fine. Now, just now we discussed air is which type of conductor? Air is a bad conductor of electricity. Clear? So we have written air is which type of conductor? Air is a bad conductor of electricity. It is a bad conductor, we have written. Clear? Because of this bad conductor, because air is a bad conductor, let's say this is a positive charge developed, this is a negative charge developed, earth is having positive charge, and we discuss attraction here is happening. Clear? But since air is a bad conductor, what happens? What happens? We discussed always you try to move towards which path? Like we discussed, river is trying to flow through which path? Least resistance path. Like this, we discussed electricity is also what? Trying to find what? Least resistance path. Okay, bad conductor means more resistance are there. Clear? So electricity is also trying to find a least resistant path that is okay there. Clear? Why? When let's say people are there, then what will happen? This lightning strikes the people because people are connected with the ground. Clear? This lightning strikes the people because our body is what? Our body is a conductor of electricity. So our body is a conductor of electricity. It is okay, good conductor as compared to the air. So instead of moving through the air, they starts to nothing but okay hit what? They starts to hit nothing but okay people and etc. That's why lightning strikes people. Clear? Why it is okay moving through the air? While it is moving through the air, it is encountering more resistance. So as soon as it encounters the people, what will happen? It tries to flow through the people. That's why we say lightning have struck people and kill people. Clear? Or it can struck okay what? It can struck the plant and etc. That is okay there because they are there. Or it can struck the buildings. Buildings are there. So the buildings provide the path to nothing but okay ground. So whichever things which are acting as a good conductor, lightning will choose that particular path to hit the ground. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So that's why it is advisable. It is advisable when you are okay what? When you are in the lightning areas and other areas, that you try to take shelters in what? Take shelters in a lower tree, not higher tree, because higher trees are going to be what? If trees are higher and trees are lower, what will happen? The lightning will struck nothing but okay higher trees because they will find a least resistance path quickly as compared to traveling to the bad conductor and take nothing but okay what? Take nothing but okay this particular path. So that's why it is when you are in open area, lightning are going on, it is advisable to take rest or take shelters in a lower trees as compared to nothing but okay higher trees, because higher trees are going to attract more amount of charge that is okay there. Clear? Higher buildings are attracting more amount of charge. That's why when buildings are being constructed, a conductor is being what? Conductor is put to the ground so that as soon as it is struck the building, all the charges move towards the ground, not affecting people in the building. That is okay there. So this is okay the reason why lightning strikes the building, like lightning strikes the people, or lightning strikes the plants and etc. That is okay there because they act as a more good conductor as compared to air. Clear? Any doubt regarding this part? So this is the term you have to keep in mind with regard to lightning, as well as tornadoes, as well as what? Thunderstorm. Any doubt regarding this part? So now we are coming towards what? We are coming towards the cyclones. So now we are coming towards cyclones. Okay, this is the term that you have often heard. Cyclone is the term that you have often heard, often you have encountered this particular term. So what is cyclone? How do you define this term? How do I define this term cyclone? How do you define this term cyclone? Hmm? You have heard this term, you have encountered this term several times. So what understanding you have with regard to cyclones? Clear? These are basically what? These are basically your atmospheric disturbances. So cyclones are being defined as which type of disturbances? Atmospheric disturbances around a low pressure areas. Around a low pressure areas. So these are atmospheric disturbances around a low pressure area which causes inward rotating winds. It causes which type of wind? Inward rotating wind. Okay, so cyclones simply are being defined as what? These are being defined as the atmospheric disturbances around a low pressure area which causes what? Which causes inward circulation of wind or inward rotating wind. Clear? Now, why this low pressure center is created, or why low pressure area is being created? Why this low pressure area is being created or low pressure centers are being created? Because of excessive heating. We discussed whenever heating will happen, what will happen? Low pressures are going to be formed. So this low pressures are created because of heating of the sun. Fine. So as we discussed, let's say wind is coming like this around this low pressure center. When wind are coming like this around the low pressure center, let's say this, we are talking in which hemisphere? Northern hemisphere. So you know that this is a high pressure zone and this is a low pressure zone. These are high pressure zone, these are low pressure zone. Now when wind moves from high pressure to low pressure, why wind moves from high pressure to low pressure? Which force is responsible? Which force is responsible for the movement of wind from high pressure to low pressure? Which force is responsible for wind to move from high pressure to low pressure? What are the factors, what are the forces affecting the flow of wind? Forces affecting flow of wind? Temperature, any other thing? Temperature is not a force. What are the forces affecting the flow of wind? Yeah, pressure gradient force, Coriolis force, friction force. These are the forces we have discussed. So what are the forces affecting the flow of wind are? Pressure gradient force, Coriolis force and frictional force. These are the forces we have discussed. So what is pressure gradient force? It causes the movement of wind from where to where? High pressure to low pressure. So which wind is called, which forces is causing the wind to move from high pressure to low pressure? It is a pressure gradient force. It is which type of force? Pressure gradient force. But we discussed wind does not move exactly like this because of Earth's rotation. Coriolis force is acting. As a result, wind is what? Deflected. In northern hemisphere, wind is deflected towards which hand side? Right hand side. Clear? So wind is deflected like this. Now wind is deflected towards right hand side. Clear? So what is happening now? What is happening now? You are seeing a wind moving like this. We are seeing wind moving like this. Like this you are seeing around a low pressure center. Around a low pressure center. And this is what we called as an inward rotating wind. Inward, this is inward wind. This is inward wind which is coming towards low pressure, but this is not exactly reaching to the low pressure, rather rotating around this particular low pressure. Clear? This is rotating around this low pressure. That's why we have written inward rotating wind. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So what is a cyclone? How do you define this term? It is an atmospheric disturbance around a low pressure area which causes which type of wind? Inward rotating wind. Fine. Fine. So this low pressure zone is being created. Around this low pressure, you'll see rotating winds are going to be there. Why this rotating winds are there? Because wind is trying to move inward direction. Wind is trying to move towards inward direction. This is what cyclone is all about. Fine. Now, there are two different type of cyclones we have written. One is called as a tropical cyclone. Another is called as what? Temperate cyclone. Remember cyclonic rainfall. Cyclonic rainfall is occurring due to what? Tropical cyclone and temperate cyclone. Temperate cyclone are also referred as which type of cyclone? Extratropical cyclone. These are also referred as a extratropical cyclone. So cyclones are going to be of two types. These atmospheric disturbance are of two types. One is called as a tropical cyclone. Another is called as a temperate cyclone. It's fine. Clear? Now the first we are going to take up which type of cyclone? Tropical cyclones. Tropical cyclones. So what is tropical cyclone? These are originating in tropical region. In tropical region over the oceans. These are originating in tropical region over the oceans and moving from ocean towards where? Towards the coastal areas. So what is the tropical cyclone? Tropical cyclone always originate over the oceans. They are always originating in ocean. They are originating in tropical areas, moving from where to where? From ocean to coastal areas, and causes destruction due to causes destruction. Why it is causing destruction? Because of violent wind, squall, torrential rainfall, and storm surge. So this is a definition for whom? This is a definition for tropical cyclone. What is a tropical cyclone? These are originating in tropical region over the ocean, moving from where to where? From the ocean to the coastal areas, and causing what? Destruction. Which type of why it is causing a destruction? It is causing destruction due to violent wind, causing destruction due to squall, torrential rainfall, or a storm surge. Clear? What the term storm surge means? Any idea? What the term storm surge means? We have written it is causing storm surge. So what the term storm surge means? So as this wind are generating where? We discussed cyclones are generating where? They are generating over the oceans. These winds are generating over where? Over the oceans. Clear? So over the ocean these are moving. Clear? The friction between wind and water will generate what? The friction between wind and water generate what? Generates the wave. Clear? Friction between wind and water. Remember normal wave and tsunami wave. We discussed normal wave is generated due to what? Normal wave is generated due to what? Due to friction between wind and water. And how tsunami waves are generated? How tsunami waves are generated? Forgetting everything, huh? Not revising anyone. How tsunami waves are generated? We discussed tsunami waves are generated due to earthquake. Due to what? Volcanic eruption. Due to what? due to landslide, due to volcanic eruption, due to meteorites impact. Those are the reasons why tsunami waves are something that are generated. So tsunami waves are what? We have written that these are long wavelength waves. Tsunami waves are which type of wave? Long wavelength wave. Why it is generated? Due to earthquake. Due to what? Due to volcanic eruption, due to meteorites impact. That is what we have written with regard to tsunami waves. How normal waves are generated? What is the difference between tsunami waves and normal wave? We discussed normal waves are generated due to friction between wind and water, while tsunami waves are generated when large scale energy release are happening due to what? Due to earthquake, due to volcanic eruption, or due to meteorites impact. Clear? So when this wind is moving, over the ocean, what will happen? The frictions are going to be generated between what? Wind and water. Oceanic water is static, while the wind is okay, what? Moving. So it will try to take away water also. So as a result, friction is generated. Because of this friction, what will happen? Waves are going to be generated. Clear? What is going to be generated? Waves are going to be generated. Fine. Any doubt regarding this particular part? So let's say this is an area. This is where cyclones are generating. What will happen to the waves? Now this wave will starts to reach where? This waves that is generated because of cyclones will start to reach where? To the coastal areas. Clear? When it reach to the coastal areas, what will happen? What will happen? The water from the ocean is entering into where? In the coastal areas. Okay, it causes what? It causes your flooding. Okay, so what is a storm surge? Storm surge are nothing but when, because of cyclones, waves are generated. These waves enters into what? These waves enters into the coastal areas. This water enters into the coastal areas, causing what? Causing flooding. And this is referred as what? This is referred as a storm surge. Fine. Clear the term what is storm surge? Second is torrential rainfall. What do you understand by the term torrential rainfall? Very heavy rainfall. Yes. Okay. Very heavy rainfall. Very heavy rainfall. Clear? And what is a squall? It is also a violent wind only. Violent wind, heavy wind with moving with a very fast speed, which is accompanied by thunder and lightning. Wind moving with a very fast speed, accompanied by whom? Accompanied by thunder and lightning. This is what we called as what? This is what we called as tropical cyclones. Clear? So wind moving with a very high speed, accompanied by thunder and lightning, that is going to be called as what? That is going to be called as a squall. Fine. So what is a tropical cyclone? What is the definition for tropical cyclone? These are what? These are storms that are originating in which region? These are storms originating in oceanic region, in tropical areas, moving from where to where? From the ocean to coastal region, causes what? Causes destruction. And this destruction are what? This destruction are due to violent wind, the squall, torrential rainfall, and a storm surge. Fine. Fine. Now, tropical region, generally this storm originate between whom? This storm originate between 10 to 30 degree latitude, northern latitude or southern latitude. Okay, so these storms are originating between 10 to 30 degree northern latitude, or these are originating between 10 to 30 degree southern latitude. Clear? So that is generally the extension of whom? Extension of tropical cyclones. That is generally extension of tropical cyclones. Fine. So what is cyclone? How the term cyclone? Cyclone we have defined as an atmospheric disturbances. Why this atmospheric disturbance is being caused? It is okay. Yeah, it is because of low pressure. Atmospheric disturbances is called because of low pressure. So this atmospheric disturbances around a low pressure area and causing which type of wind? Inward rotating wind. That is called as what? That is called as a cyclone. And we discuss cyclone can be classified into what? Cyclone can be classified into tropical cyclone and temperate cyclone. What is a tropical cyclone? These are originating in tropical region over the oceans, moving from where to where? From ocean to the coastal areas, and causes destruction. Which type of destruction it causes? Violent wind, squall, torrential rainfall, and a storm surge. Fine. Now, when the tropical cyclones are going to be formed? When the tropical cyclones are going to be formed, what are the conditions? What are the conditions favorable for tropical cyclone? Fine. So the first thing we discuss, for any cyclones to be formed, what is required? Low pressure is being required, and this low pressure, as we discussed, tropical cyclone originate over where? At the ocean. So this low pressure has to be formed where? At the ocean. Clear? So that's why you require what? A warm sea surface. Warm sea surface where temperature should be greater than around 27 degrees Celsius. So the first condition that you require is a warm sea surface where temperature should be greater than what? Temperature should be greater than 27 degrees Celsius, because these are formed at the ocean and the low pressure has to formed over ocean. So you require a warm sea surface where temperature is greater than 27 degrees Celsius. Clear? Second thing, how rotating winds are going to be formed? How rotating winds are going to be formed? When you have what? No. When you have presence of which force? Coriolis force, which is causing the wind to deflect and rotate. It is a Coriolis force. Okay. So presence of Coriolis force is something that is okay required. Clear? The third thing, you require a pre-existing low pressure center. A pre-existing low pressure center. So it requires a low pressure center around which cyclones can develop. A pre-existing low pressure area or pre-existing low pressure center. Fine. The fourth thing that you require is what? Upper air divergence. Upper air divergence. What is upper air divergence means? So let's say this is a low pressure center, winds are moving around this low pressure center and winds are moving up. So they need to diverge at the upper side. Like, okay, this is a low pressure center, the winds are moving like this, they are rising like this. Okay, so they need to diverge in the upper atmosphere. This is called as a upper air divergence. Clear? Any regarding this one? So one thing, you require what type of surface? Warm sea surface. Second thing, on warm sea surface, what need to be formed? A low pressure center need to be formed. Then you require what? A Coriolis force which can deflect the wind. Then you require what? An upper air divergence. And lastly, the vertical wind shear. Vertical wind shear. Vertical wind shear. Clear? Here, vertical wind shear need to have a small variation, not large variation. It has to have small variation. Vertical wind shear, it need to have a small variation. What is wind shear means? What is wind shear means? The difference that is existing, the difference existing in the lower atmospheric wind and higher atmospheric wind. Atmospheric wind speed. What is the difference between the lower atmospheric wind speed and higher atmospheric wind speed? Clear? So that is called as what? That is called as a wind shear. That is called as a wind shear. What differences that you are finding between whom? Differences that you are finding between wind in the lower atmosphere and wind blowing in the higher atmosphere. This is called as what? This is called as a vertical wind shear. So there need to be a small variations. Fine. Now the question that is there is, why wind have a different speed? Why wind has a different speed in lower and upper atmosphere?
Because it is the denser.
It is denser at the surface. Any other reason?
Because of gravitation.
Because of gravitation. Anyone else?
Just there will be the
We discussed three forces. Which are the forces affecting wind? Pressure, gradient force, Coriolis force. Third is which type of force? Pressure, gradient force, Coriolis force, and frictional force. Where frictional force is more? In the lower atmosphere. We discussed buildings are there, other things are there, so they will reduce the speed of the wind. Okay, so when frictional force is higher in lower atmosphere, you will have reduction in wind speed. As you go up, what will happen? Speed will increase, wind speed will increase. Clear? So there should not be much difference between whom? There should not be much difference between lower speed wind, lower atmospheric wind, and higher atmospheric wind. If difference is too much, then cyclones is not going to form, because we are seeing that wind are rising. If wind are moving with a high speed over here and low speed over here, so this wind, by the time this wind has already moved, you don't see rising up of wind that happened because of friction over here. So there need to be small variation in case of what? The rising wind and the upper atmospheric wind. There should not be much of difference. Clear? So wind should not be moving at a lower atmosphere with a low speed and at higher atmosphere with a high speed. There should be small variation in that. That is called as a wind shear. Fine. Any doubt regarding this one? So these are what? These are the 5 conditions that are absolutely necessary to form what? These are the 5 conditions which are absolutely necessary to form a tropical cyclones. Clear? So you requires what? You requires a warm sea surface, you requires a low pressure, you requires a Coriolis force, wind need to diverge in upper atmosphere, and vertical wind shear should not be much between what? Between lower atmospheric wind and higher atmospheric wind. This speed should not be varying much, and there need to be small variation. Such things are such conditions are referred as what? Such conditions are necessary for formation of tropical cyclones. What is the definition for tropical cyclone? These are violent storm originating where? At the oceans, moving from where to where? Ocean to the coastal areas, and causing what? Causing destruction. Why it is causing destruction? Due to squall, due to storm surge, due to torrential rainfall, and due to yes. So those are the reasons why it is causing. And what are the conditions favorable? Warm sea surface you require, presence of Coriolis force, a pre-existing low pressure center, upper air divergence, and vertical wind shear. These conditions are required for the formation of tropical cyclones. Yeah, without humidity, because these are formed at where? Surface. Okay, at the oceans what will happen? You'll have more evaporation. No, we discussed at the oceans you'll have more evaporation than what? At the land. So obviously what will happen? Humidity is going to be there what? In the atmosphere. Wind will carry the humidity. Clear? Because it is formed where? It is formed at the sea surface. Fine. Have a break, then we'll discuss further. Fine. So these are the conditions we have discussed necessary for formation of tropical cyclones. So the first thing we have written is a warm sea surface. So you'll see the sunlight is heating what? Sunlight is heating the sea surface, and as a result, what is going to be formed over here? Low pressures are going to be formed. Sunlight is heating this particular surface, and what is being formed? Low pressures are being formed. As a result, you will find the wind coming from this direction towards nothing but towards the low pressure. But we discussed when winds are coming, what will happen? Winds are going to be rotated around what? Rotated around this particular low pressure center. Clear? And because of this rotation, wind will starts to rise up and diverge in the upper atmosphere. Clear? Let's say wind is not diverging in the upper atmosphere, what will happen? If wind is not diverging in the upper atmosphere, what will happen? Then there will no rise happens. Why there will be no rise? Because when wind are diverging, then only space is created. So new wind are something that are coming up. Clear? If wind are not moving away, then what will happen? You don't see winds going to rise up. That is okay there. Clear? So why upper air divergence is necessary? Upper air divergence is necessary because winds are something that are moving away. Why winds are something that are moving away? Why winds are something that are moving away? Because you'll see this wind will become more colder in nature. So here the wind are more warmer. As you go up, what will happen? Temperature will decline. Winds are colder, and this colder winds are something that are diverging. When they will diverge, what will happen? New winds are going to come up. Clear? Rise up. That's why upper air divergence is necessary. If this low pressure is not formed, then what will happen? Wind will not come. When wind will not come, what will happen? No cyclones are going to be formed. Third thing, if sea is not heated, if this sea is not heated, what will happen? Then there will be no formation of low pressure. You know that when anything is heated, then only what will happen? Low pressure formation is going to happen. Clear? So that's why you require warm sea surface. And we discussed this is incoming wind, this is nothing but outgoing wind. There should not be much difference in what? There should not be much difference in the speed of this wind. There should not be much difference in what? Speed of this wind, that is upper atmosphere and lower atmosphere. There should not be much difference in the speed. That's why they are formed over the oceans. At the oceans, you have lesser friction as compared to what? As compared to land. That's why you are seeing these formation over the oceans. Fine. So these are the conditions. And lastly, we have written as what? Lastly, we have written as the presence of Coriolis force. This Coriolis force is required to create a rotating wind. Fine. So these five conditions are absolutely necessary to form a tropical cyclone. Fine. Now, there is one question: why tropical cyclones are not formed over equator? Why tropical cyclones are not formed over equator? What we have written is they are formed generally between whom? They are formed generally between 10 to 30 degree north latitude or 10 to 30 degree south latitude. This is what we have written. So why tropical cyclone is not formed over equator? Temperature will be high, so more low pressure. More low pressure means what? More chances of formation of tropical cyclone. No? We discussed we require what? We require low pressure. So when you are having more heating means what? More low pressure will be formed. So why do you see the tropical cyclone are not occurring in the equator region? So in the equator region also you have an ocean, no? Like you have equator region here. What is happening? Indonesia is there. You see, this is which region? This is a oceanic region. Clear? Indian Ocean region. Like this, India is there. Below India, what is there? Oceans are there. So you see, equator is passing through the oceans. Why don't you see formation of tropical cyclone at the equator? Why don't you see? The reason is the Coriolis force. We discussed Coriolis force is zero at what? Equator. Coriolis force is 0 at equator. Coriolis force is maximum where? Maximum at the poles. Please revise previous one. Coriolis force is 0 at where? 0 at the equator. Coriolis force is maximum where? At the poles. This is what we have discussed with regard to Coriolis force. Clear? So because there is absence of Coriolis force, wind is not going to rotate. When wind is not going to rotate, what will happen? No cyclones are going to be formed. Clear? Deflection will only happen when you have a Coriolis force. Okay? Clear? So Coriolis force, since it is 0 at equator, you are not going to see any tropical cyclone formation at equator, and around 10 degree north and 10 degree south, Coriolis force is so negligible that it does not causes much of deflection. Clear? As we discussed, it is 0 at equator, it is increasing maximum at poles. Remember, we discussed it varies with sine theta. Clear? Sine 0 is 0, sine 90 is what? 1. So it is increasing from 0, okay, 0 latitude to 90 degree latitude, that is okay there. Clear? So since Coriolis force is 0 at equator and between 10 degree north to 10 degree south, it is almost negligible. That's why Coriolis force, that's why cyclone do not forms in what? Cyclone do not forms at the equator. Clear? So if question comes, why cyclones do not form at equator, what you have to write? All other conditions are met. All other conditions are met. Okay, met over here. So at the equator, you'll see what? You'll see warm sea surface. At equator, you'll see what? Low pressure center. At equator, you'll also see a convectional current rising and diverging. Upper air divergence are going to be there. Vertical wind shear will also be okay, having small variation, but what is not going to be there at the equator is a Coriolis force. If Coriolis force is not there, then what will happen? You don't see formation of a tropical cyclones. Fine. So that's why keep in mind that these are not formed. These are not formed at equator. At equator, as Coriolis force is 0. As Coriolis force is 0 at equator. Coriolis force is 0 at equator, and Coriolis force is 0 at equator, and between 0 to 10 degree, it is almost negligible. Negligible. That's why do not cause much deflection. Between 0 to 10 degree, it is negligible. That's why do not cause much deflection. So that is the reason why cyclones do not form. Tropical cyclones do not form between 0 to 10 degree. It is formed from where to where? From 10 to 30 degree north or 10 to 30 degree south. Fine. Fine. Now another important thing, the tropical cyclones in India, they are generally seen in India, generally you are seeing in late summers. You are generally finding cyclones in late summer, that is from August, that is late August till November. You are generally seeing tropical cyclone in this particular period. Why do you see tropical cyclone occurs in late summer month, from late August to November? Why do you see this? Fine. Any other thing? Southwest wind, any other thing? Any other thing? Why do you see tropical cyclone occurring in late summer? So this is your equator. This is where Tropic of Cancers are there. This is equator. This is where Tropic of Cancers are there. Clear? At, you know that 21st June, summer will, the sun will be at which point? Sun will be over at a Tropic of Cancer. Clear? So that's why this region will receive more amount of sunlight. More amount of sunlight means what? More heating. More heating means what? Low pressure should be formed. So why it is not occurring in month of June? Why it is occurring more in late August to November? Because low pressure can be formed in the month of June itself. Fine. So why it is formed in late August or late August to November? Generally you'll see formation of tropical cyclone. It is mainly formed because we discussed what is the specific heat of land and water, which get heated more quickly and which takes times to heat. Land get heated more quickly as compared to what? Water. So though the sun is at here, land quickly get heated, but water will take times to what? Water will take times to heat. And as we discussed, when the tropical cyclone is going to be formed, when the sea surface temperature is going to above what? Above 27 degrees Celsius. So that's why water is, when sun position is here, water is getting the heat, but water will take times to heat. So by the time of August, okay, by the time of late August, you'll see water will get actually heated more than 27 degrees Celsius. That's why you see more occurrence of tropical cyclone in the late summer rather than the in the summer. Fine. In the summer, if it has to be formed on the land, it would have formed on the summer itself. But since water takes times to heat, as a result, it is forming in what? Forming in the late summer month. Fine. Any doubt regarding this one? In
summer, it will have
but water takes times to heat, no?
months to live.
Yeah, months also. Clear? So it takes times to heat. As a result, okay, what will happen is we require temperature of how much greater? It should be sea surface temperature should be greater than how much? 27 degrees Celsius. So unless and until the sea surface temperature reaches to these particular point, you don't see the formation of tropical cyclone. So since water takes times to heat, and as a result, you see, as soon as summer occurs, the cyclones will not form. It will form in a late summer month. Fine. Any doubt regarding this one? So this is due to what? This is due to specific heat capacity of water. Fine. Another important thing, the tropical cyclones are always formed. Tropical cyclones are always formed on the eastern side of the continent. On the eastern side of continent. Why this is there? Why tropical cyclones are always formed on the eastern side of the continent? So the frequency of cyclone will be more at Bay of Bengal as compared to what? Arabian Sea. It is more found on the east side of continent. That is what we have written. Tropical cyclone are always formed on the eastern side of the continent. Why this is happening? What is the reason? The reason is so just now we discussed the oceanic current, and we discussed that oceanic current, where do you see the flow of warm current and where do you see flow of cold current? Where do you see flow of warm current or where do you see flow of cold current? Yeah, cold current is coming from the poles while the warm current are near the equator. Fine. In which area you see warm current, in which area you see cold current? In which area you see warm current, in which area you see cold current? So what you are finding is when you are seeing this on the eastern side, which color is something that is there on the eastern side? Red color. When you are seeing on this side, which color is there? You will see blue color of, okay, this one. This indicate your colder current, while this indicate which type of current? Warmer current. This indicate which type of current? Warmer current. Clear? So you'll find what? You'll find always on the eastern side which type of currents are there? warmer current are there. On eastern side, which type of currents are going to be there? Warmer current are there. And you require which type of temperature? So you require which type of temperature? So now you can see. So now you can see which type of current are there here. It is a warmer current. Which type of current here are there? Colder current are there. So when colder current are there, what will happen to water over here? What will happen to water over here? Water becomes cold. When here, which current are coming? Warmer current are happening. What will happen to the water? It becomes warm. And we discussed for tropical cyclone to form, what is required? Warmer temperature are required greater than 27 degree, which will not occur on the west side, because west side, which type of current are flowing? Colder current flowing. That's why tropical cyclones are always formed on the eastern side. They are always formed on the eastern side, because western side you will see colder current. But in Indian case, they can originate over here also, or they can originate over here also. Clear? Why? Because India is not connected in Indian Ocean. North Indian Ocean is not connected with the poles. Clear? So that's why no colder current is coming. Here you see Atlantic Ocean is connected with the poles, so you see colder current are coming. This current is coming, colder current is coming. Here you see Pacific Oceans is connected with the poles, so you'll see which current is coming, colder current are coming. But Indian Ocean is not connected with the poles, so that's why no colder current are coming. That's why you'll see tropical cyclone can form over Bay of Bengal also. They can form over Arabian Sea also. But frequency of formation will be higher where? Over Bay of Bengal than the Arabian Sea. Frequency of formation will be more higher over Bay of Bengal than the Arabian Sea. Fine. So this important thing that you have to keep in mind with regard to those black lines indicate, those are showing the direction where the things are moving, and they are hot one. They are hot one. Clear? Yeah. So this is a reason why you see. This is a reason why you see no formation of tropical cyclone where on the eastern side, rather they are always on the eastern side of the oceans. They are always found on the eastern side of the continent. Remember, in UPSC question might come like this. In UPSC question might come like this. Which is a correct statement if question comes like this? Second is correct. First one? For definition we have written tropical cyclone always originate at the ocean. They are not forming where? They are not forming at the continent. So that's why first statement is wrong statement. Tropical cyclone always originate where? Always originate at the ocean. They are not formed at the continent. Clear? Second thing, once they form over the ocean, they are moving from ocean to which areas we have written? Coastal areas. So they are moving from ocean towards coastal areas, but they are not forming over the continent. Fine. Second, they are always formed on the eastern side of the ocean. Just now we discussed the tropical cyclones are always formed where? On the eastern side. But eastern side of whom? Eastern side of the continent, not eastern side of the oceans. If this is a ocean eastern side is going to be this side. Ocean western side is going to be this side. Clear? So we discussed on the continent western side, you will see what? On the continent western side, you are seeing which type of current? Colder current. On the continent western side, you are seeing which type of current? Which current is flowing over here? Colder current, which is Canary current. So it is on the continent west side. But if you take ocean, this is going to be ocean what? Oceanic east side, not oceanic side that is going to be there. Clear? So the the thing that you have to keep in mind is what is written in the question. They are always formed on the eastern side of whom? Eastern side of the continent. It should not be eastern side of whom? Oceans. Fine. Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So if you see the map, what is happening? So this is what this is okay. The east, this is west side of whom? So this is west of whom? Continent, but it is east of whom? Oceans. Okay, oceans west is this, ocean east is this. Clear? So what is mentioned, where the tropical cyclone will occur? Tropical cyclone will occur on the east of whom? Continent, and on west of whom? On west of oceans. Okay, tropical cyclone will occur on the east of continent, on the west of whom? On the west of ocean. Clear? So that's why whatever is given in the question, you have to keep that in mind, and accordingly you have to nothing but answer. They are always formed on the eastern side of ocean. No, they are always formed on the ocean, rather eastern side of the continent. Clear? So that you have to keep in mind. Clear? So what we have written, tropical cyclones are what? Tropical cyclones are not going to be formed between 0 to 10 degree. Why they are not being formed? Due to absence of Coriolis force. They are generally formed in late summer. Why they are generally formed in late summer? Because ocean takes times to heat. And why ocean takes times to heat? Because oceanic specific heat is different. And the third thing we have written is tropical cyclones are always formed where? They are always formed on the eastern side of whom? Eastern side of continent, and western side of whom? Western side of oceans. So this point you have to keep in mind with regard to tropical cyclones. Clear? So condition clear, definition clear, where tropical cyclones are going to be formed, when it is going to be formed. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? Fine. Next comes what is a structure? What is the structure of tropical cyclone? Generally you will find the three region, eye wall, spiral band. These are the three regions you're going to find in a tropical cyclone. So tropical cyclone structure is what? Structure is eye wall as well as spiral band region. Clear? The eye region is where you see comparatively fair weather. Comparatively, you are going to see fair weather. You're going to see descending air, descending cold air, and this eye can be around what? Around nothing but 8 kilometer to 10 kilometer till around 300 to 500 kilometer. Its extension can be of various type. 8 to 10 kilometer to till 300 kilometer that you are finding with regard to eye. Fine. So the tropical cyclone have the first region. This region is the eye region. Surrounding this region is what? Surrounding this region is a eye wall. Surrounding the eye region is what? Surrounding the eye region is a eye wall region. Eye wall region is, it is the region of intense wind. It is a region of intense wind. Intense convection will happen. Cumulonimbus type of clouds are going to be formed. And you will see it is a most violent region of cyclones. Most violent region of cyclone. Most violent region of cyclone. It is where you see maximum rainfall. Clear? So surrounding the eye region is which region? Surrounding the eye region is a eye wall region. Eye wall region is a zone of intense wind, convection. Which type of clouds are going to be formed? Cumulonimbus type of clouds are going to be formed. You know that cumulonimbus type of cloud will create a rainfall. So maximum rainfall occurs in this region. And violent region of cyclone. It is the most violent region of cyclone. And the third is a spiral band. Spiral band, it is also referred as a rain band. Rain band formed when multiple convective cell merge and create a cyclones. So multiple convective cell merge and create a cyclones. Fine. So multiple convective cell like this. So when multiple convective cell merge and create a cyclones, then it is going to be called as what? It is going to be called as a spiral band or a rail band region. Spiral band or rain band region. So there are three major part of a tropical cyclone: an eye region, an eye wall region, as well as spiral band region. Eye region is what? It is comparatively fair weather. Eye region can be very small also, 8 to 10 kilometer, can be very large also, up to 300 kilometer. These are the zone of descending air. So generally, you know that for rainfall to happen, what is required? Wind should go up. Since it is a zone of which type of air? Descending air. Generally, fair weather you are going to see, not much of rainfall you are going to see. Fine. Next, intense, which is eye wall region. Eye wall region is a intense wind. Convectional current are going to be more in this region. And the third is a spiral band region. Clear? So these are structure of tropical cyclones. Fine. Fine. So this is what you are seeing regarding the tropical cyclone. This middle region is called as what? Eye region, around which winds are something that are rotating. And eye is okay, which type of region? Calm, clear sky region. It is going to be which type of region? Calm, clear sky region. Surrounding this eye region is what? Surrounding this eye region is a eye wall. So this region is what? This region is eye wall region. Fine. So this region is what? This region is your eye wall region, that is surrounding the eye region. Surrounding the eye region, you have this region. This is a zone of eye wall. As we discussed, which type of cloud you are seeing? Dark dense cloud. Which type of cloud you are seeing? Cumulonimbus type of cloud you are seeing in this particular region. And this is the most violent zone of, okay, what? Most violent zone of the tropical cyclone, where maximum rainfall is something that is going to happen. Clear? So see, this is a low pressure center. Winds are coming towards what? Winds are coming towards low pressure center, and as we discussed, winds are rotating and rising. And here when it is rising, it is what? It is nothing but, okay, spiraling outward. Upper air divergence is something that is, okay, happening. It is spiraling and outward. That is, upper air divergence is something that is, okay, happening. Clear? Any doubt? And these are what? These are the various rain bands. Okay, you can see this is the rain bands referred as a spiral bands. These are the rain bands which are referred as a spiral band. Okay, so these are spiral band because here multiple convective cells are being formed. When multiple convective cells are being formed, air will rise up, create a dark cloud, which will create rainfall over here. That is called as what? That is called as a spiral band or a rain band. Fine. So this is a structure of whom? This is a structure of tropical cyclones. Clear? So in the examination, if comes the cyclone question comes, just make a rough diagram showing this is a eye region. Show this as which region? high wall region, and show this as which type of region? As a spiral band region. Okay, and here you show the wind are something that are what? Diverging. Here you show winds are something that are converging. Clear? And here you show that winds are something that are rising. This is how you have to make a diagram. Clear? This is how you have to make a diagram in case of examination. So show a I region. Around I region, you show that the winds are something that are rising and diverging. Here you show I wall region, the dark dense region. This is a dark dense region, I wall region, and these are rain band, spiral band region. Fine. So this is a structure of whom? This is a structure of tropical cyclones. Fine. Any doubt regarding this one? So what is the structure of tropical cyclone? Remember, there are three structures: I region, I wall region, and a rain band or a spiral band region. I region, calm zone, fair weather condition. I region, this region can be small also. This region can be very big also. That is okay there. So very big I region can also be there. A small I region can also be there. So that's why we have written either 8 to 10 kilometer, can also be nothing but okay 300 kilometer. I region can be small or large, and you'll see what you'll see around this I region, winds will rise up, and here you'll see maximum amount of rainfall around I region, that is called as a I wall region. So wind gets stronger towards the I wall. It is written here the winds are rising with a high speed, and you'll see when they are rising, they'll create which type of cloud? Cumulonimbus type of cloud, which will produce heavy rainfall. Fine.
The diagram which you have done, that those are clouds.
Those are clouds.
Which you have done.
This one, this, these are convection band, rain band. These are convection band, rain band. Clear? So these are convective band, rain band. These are rain band indicating. Clear? Spiral band. Fine. So this is I wall. This you write as a rain band or spiral band. Here you show divergence of wind. Fine. Any doubt regarding this one? I is okay. This region, calm region. Calm region means here no rainfall will happen. That's why we have written I is okay, fair weather region. Almost no precipitation will happen, because wind is what? Wind is moving around I. It is not entering into I, no? Wind is okay, rotating around I. So when the wind is rotating, what will happen? Around this low pressure center, you'll see the rainfall will happen, but not in the low pressure. Clear? So that is what we call as a I region. I is this region. This entire region is I region, around which winds are rotating. This column you are seeing, no? This column you are seeing. Around this column, what is happening? These are the rotating wind. These are okay, what? Rotating wind. So these are winds are rotating like this. They are rising like this. This wind are rotating around which region? I region. Clear? So suppose this is okay, what? This is nothing but okay, I region. So winds are rotating like this and rising like this. They are not entering into this region. Clear? They are rotating and revolve, okay, rotating like this and rising like this. So that is okay what you have to do. So this is all about structure of tropical cyclones. Now we are coming to the concept of what? Coming to the concept of cyclones. So you can see this is how okay things are going to be formed. And as we discussed, this region is what? This entire region is I region. Surrounding this I region is what? This is I wall region, and this is okay what? This is your rain band region or spiral band region. This is rain band region or spiral band region. So what happens is, firstly, what will happen? You'll see air will come towards this side. How the cyclones are going to be formed? Air is going to come this side. Why? Because what is formed over here? Low pressure is formed. When water get heated, what will form over here? Low pressure are going to be formed. So that's why wind is going to what? Wind is going to come towards this side. When wind is going to come, what will happen? Moisture. Wind is going to pick up what? Moisture. As they are blowing over the ocean, what will happen? They'll pick up the moisture. When they will pick up the moisture, what will happen? When they will pick up the moisture, what will happen? Because here, due to Coriolis force, we discuss what will happen. They'll deflected, and what will happen? They'll starts to move around the eye wall region. So they are now moving around eye wall region, and they are rising up. So as you rise up, what will happen to temperature? Declines. When temperature declines, what will happen? Condensation will happen. Clouds are going to be formed. These clouds, we have written which type of cloud? Cumulonimbus types of cloud are going to be formed, and this cumulonimbus type will create a rainfall. This will create a rainfall. Clear? Now, as we have written multiple convective cells, if multiple convective cells are formed, then what will happen? We'll see air coming up, rising like this. Here rainfall will happen. Air coming up, rising like this. Here rainfall happens. Air coming up, rising like this. Here rainfall happens. Air coming up, rising like this. Here rainfall happens. So that's why these are referred as what? These are referred as a rain band or spiral band. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular part? So this is how you see formation of what? Formation of tropical cyclones. Clear? So that's why formation of tropical cyclone also we study in what? Formation of tropical cyclone also we study in different stages. We study it in different stages. So you are finding this. First, what will happen? A low pressure center will form over here. A low pressure center. Wind will starts to what? Wind will starts to come around this particular low pressure, and as we discussed, wind will what? Wind will starts to rotate. So let's say this is a eye region. This is eye region. Now wind are rotating around this eye region. They are rotating around this eye region. They are rotating around this eye region and moving aside. Clear? They are rotating around this eye region and moving aside. Now, as the wind are rising in which region? This region. Wind are rising in this region. Wind are rising in this region. So this creates which region? Eye wall region. This creates which region? Eye wall region. So this is your eye wall region, where you see what? Where you see which type of clouds are going to be formed? Dark dense cloud. Okay, so what is going to be formed over here? Dark dense cumulonimbus types of clouds are going to be formed. So this is a cumulonimbus type of cloud that is being formed. And if multiple convective cells create, let's say here also low pressure is created, 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 then you see the wind rising over here also, wind rising over here also, wind rising over here also, wind rising over here also. They will create what? They will create a rainfall. So they will create rainfall in this region. That's why these are called as what? These are called as a spiral band or a rain band region. So they will create a rainfall in this region. So you have three stages. First stage, what is happening? First stage, a pre-existing low pressure center. What happens in first stage or early stage? This first stage is referred as a early stage of cyclone. So what happens? A pre-existing low pressure center is being created. Because of this pre-existing low pressure center, what will happen? You'll see wind starts to what? Wind starts to move towards this low pressure center, and due to Coriolis force, they'll be start rotating. They'll start rotating around this low pressure center. They'll start rotating around this low pressure center and started to rise up. Clear? So they will start rotating around this low pressure center, started to nothing but rise up, forming the eye and eye wall region. Then second stage is going to be what? Second stage is going to be mature stage. Second stage is which type of stage? Mature stage. What will happen in mature stage? This multiple convective cells are going to be created. Multiple convective cells are going to be created. This multiple convective cells are going to be created, forming what? Forming the rain band or spiral band. Rain band and spiral band around this low pressure center. Clear? And the third stage is going to be again which type of stage? Dissipating. The third stage is going to be which type of stage? Dissipating stage. So as the cyclones move from where to where? Cyclone moves from ocean towards land. In coastal areas, when it starts to move from the ocean to the land, what will happen? What will happen? Then there will be what? There will be cutting of the moisture. There will be cutting of moisture. Then there will be cutting of moisture. Clear? When wind here is blowing, wind is carrying the moisture. But when it moves towards the land from here, if it starts to move toward the land, what will happen? When wind will come towards the land, what will happen? No moistures are there. No moistures are there, then what will happen? You don't see nothing but a what? You don't see winds rising up. You don't see wind rising up, creating a rainfall. As a result, what will happen? Cyclone will dissipate. Clear? So that's why tropical cyclone only impact what? Tropical cyclone impact coastal areas, not moving much in the interior of Earth. So you'll see, when you see cyclones, you see Kolkata, you'll see Bhubaneswar, you'll see Chennai, you'll see the coastal areas of Visakhapatnam. These coastal areas are something that are being impacted rather than what? Rather than an interior region, they are not being impacted. Clear? So basically what is happening is, let's say this is a coast area, this is coast area, this is where cyclones are generated. Clear? In the ocean, we are saying this is a coast area, let's say assume India, this is where cyclones are something that are generated. Now the winds are moving like this. When winds are moving like this, they are coming towards where? They are coming towards something but okay, land side, that is okay there. They are coming towards the land. But as it is moving from sea towards the land, what will happen? The moisture is decreasing because wind carry more moisture where? At the ocean. When wind carries okay here, lesser moisture. So when it lands, it's stuck on the land. When it comes onto the land, moisture supply is not there. When moisture supply is not there, you don't see okay formation of what? Formation of cumulonimbus cloud. You don't see rainfall happening. As a result, we say cyclone starts to dissipate. Clear? We discuss cyclone starts to dissipate. And also you'll see at the ocean what is happening. At the ocean there is no friction. We discussed there is no as such friction. When the cyclone will come onto the land, what will happen? What will happen? At the ocean there is no friction. Why there is no friction? Why there is no friction? Because water only is there. No buildings, no other things are there. As it comes onto the land, what will happen? More friction. More friction means what? Just now we discussed what is condition for tropical cyclone, that there should be less difference between what? Vertical wind shear. We have written vertical wind shear. What is vertical wind shear? That upper rising wind, this wind and this wind, there should not be much difference in the speed of these two winds, no? So when it comes onto the land, what will happen? More friction. More friction means this speed of this wind will decline at the lower level, but upper level no friction is there, they will move with a higher speed. So when there is a high amount of vertical wind shear, what will happen? Cyclones will not form. So as a result, cyclone starts to dissipate. Clear? So moisture supply is cut off, wind shear is more at the land. That is the reason why you see cyclone starts to dissipate as soon as it lands onto what? Lands in the coastal areas. Clear? So what will happen to wind speed in the land? Wind speed will also decline because more friction means wind speed will nothing but okay decline on the land. Clear? So these are the reasons why when cyclones starts to reach towards what? Reach towards the land, you'll see what? You'll see they starts to dissipate. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? Now, in which direction tropical cyclone will move? In which direction tropical cyclone will move? In which direction you see tropical cyclone is moving? Now we are saying the tropical cyclone is originating over here around this low pressure center and moving like this, coming towards nothing but okay land. Clear? So in the northern hemisphere, you see Coriolis force is deflecting towards which side? Coriolis force is deflecting towards which side? Towards right hand side. We discussed Coriolis force is deflecting wind towards which side? Right hand side in the northern hemisphere. So right hand side means which direction wind is moving? In which direction wind is moving? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? It is anti-clockwise. Yes, okay. Wind is moving in this direction. Clockwise means what? Clock rotates like this. Clock moves like this. Clear? So here you have 12, here you have 6, here you have 3, here you have 9. So clock move like this. Clear? This is a clockwise direction. This is what? When you are moving opposite, it is going to be called as which type of direction? Anti-clockwise. So cyclones, tropical cyclone moves in which direction? Anti-clockwise direction. In which type? In which hemisphere? In the northern hemisphere. Clear? Tropical cyclone moves in which direction? They moves in a anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. Fine. Secondly, they are originating where? We have written just now, they are originating on which type of continent, which side of ocean? They are originating on the west of ocean and eastern of continent. Clear? So they move from where to where? They move from eastern to western. Tropical cyclone moves from where to where? From east to west. Tropical cyclone is moving from where to where? From east to west. So tropical cyclone moves where? It moves in anti-clockwise direction and moves from where to where? From east to west direction. Clear? So they are moving from eastern to western direction, and they are moving in which direction? They are moving in an anti-clockwise direction. Fine. In the southern hemisphere, what will happen? In southern hemisphere, this, let's say this is a low pressure center created in southern hemisphere. Let's say wind is coming like this. Now, due to Coriolis force, winds are going to be deflected in which direction? Left hand side. So winds are going to be now deflected towards which direction? They are deflected towards left hand side in the southern hemisphere. Fine. So because of left hand side, now which is this direction? Clockwise direction. Yes. Okay. So tropical cyclone moves clockwise direction. They move in a clockwise direction in southern hemisphere. In southern hemisphere, but they will be moving from where to where? They're moving from east towards west direction. Even here also they'll be moving from where to where? In the east towards west direction. So if you see this region, this type cyclones will only originate over here. So they'll move from where to where? From east towards nothing but west direction. Clear? So tropical cyclone, how it moves? It moves anti-clockwise direction in northern hemisphere from eastern towards western direction. It is moving from where to where? Clockwise in the southern hemisphere from east to west directions. Fine. This is a direction of tropical cyclones. Clear? So what is the structure of tropical cyclone? What is the structure of tropical cyclone? Eye region, eye wall region, and rain band region. Clear? Eye region, eye wall region, and rain band region or spiral band region. This is a structure. What is the formation of tropical cyclone? Early stage, mature stage, and dissipating stage. What is the formation of tropical cyclone? We have written early stage, mature stage, as well as what? Mature stage as well as dissipating stage. These are what? These are the three stage. Early stage, first stage is early stage. This is mature stage. This is a dissipating stage. This is a formation of tropical cyclone. Early stage, what is going to be formed? A low pressure going to be formed. In the mature state, what will happen? Multiple convective cells are going to be created. And dissipating stage is when it's struck onto the land. When it will struck onto the land, what will happen? Cyclone will starts to dissipate. So that is what comes your dissipating stage. So these are the different stages of tropical cyclone. Clear? The third thing we have written is what? Movement of tropical cyclone, how it is going to move in a anti-clockwise direction or clockwise direction in northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Fine. Clear? So we started with the definition of tropical cyclone. Then we have covered what? We have covered the conditions. What are the conditions to form tropical cyclone? Then certain facts we have discussed, that a tropical cyclone will always formed on the eastern side continent. Eastern side of continent. They will not be formed where they'll not be formed between 0 to 10 degree north and south. And third facts what we have written, that they'll always be forming where? They'll be always forming in a late summer month. Why late summer month? Because ocean takes times to heat up. So those facts we have written. Then we have discussed the structure of tropical cyclone, eye wall and spiral band. Then we have discussed the formation of tropical cyclone, pre-existing, mature, dissipating stage. Then we have discussed movement of tropical cyclone, how it is moving from east to west direction, whether clockwise manner or whether anti-clockwise manner. Fine. Now next that you find is what? Next, these cyclones are known by different names. These cyclones are known by different local names in different regions. Fine. So these cyclones are known by what? These cyclones are known by different local names in different regions. For example, they are known as typhoon. They are known as typhoon in Japan and Philippines. So when cyclone originate in near Japanese and Philippines island, they are known as what? They are known as a typhoon. Clear? They are known as a willy willy. They are also known as willy willy. Willy willy where? Australia's. Yes. Okay. They are known as willy willy in case of Australia. Clear? They are also known as hurricane. Hurricane. Generally in Atlantic oceans. When tropical cyclone originate in Atlantic Ocean, fine, they are referred as what? They are referred as a hurricane. Clear? So when they are originating in Pacific Ocean near Japan and Philippines, then they are called as a typhoon. When they are originating near the coast of Australia, then it is called as what? Willy willies. When they are originating in Atlantic Ocean, they are referred as what? They are referred as a hurricane. Clear? And in Indian Ocean, we use the term what? When they are originating in Indian Ocean, then we use the term cyclones. So when they are originating in the Indian Ocean, then we use the term cyclones. Fine. So different local names are given. Clear? In India, in Indian Ocean, when they are originating, they are referred as a cyclones. In Atlantic Ocean, because they always originate at the ocean, when they originate at Atlantic, it is called as hurricane. In Australia, it is referred as a willy willies. In Pacific Ocean, near Japan and Philippines, they are referred as what? Typhoons.
Japan is also
Hmm?
Japan
Hmm.
is another
There is another.
being the cyclone.
No, they are referred as a typhoon. Typhoon near Philippines island. Clear? In Japan generally you see more of the temperate cyclone, not of tropical cyclone. But we are saying when it is originating near what? Near the Philippines and Japan. Here we'll see Japan, here we'll see Philippines. So when they are originating over in this region, China, then it is called as what? It is called as a typhoon. Fine. Hmm? Tropical zone means 0 to the 23 degree. That is equator to what? Equator to Tropic of Cancer. Generally it is referred as a tropical zone. Beyond that, temperate zone. So torrid zone, we have written torrid zone. Torrid zone is generally referred as a tropical. More heat need to be there in the tropical region. Fine. Now, another important thing when generally when wind speed of the cyclones is between 61 to 88 hours, then we call it as what? Then we call it as a cyclonic storm. So wind speed need to be greater than how much? 61 kilometer per hour. Okay, so when wind speed is greater than this one, then we call it as what? We call it as a cyclonic storm. Clear? Below this, we don't call it as a cyclonic storm. Beyond this, okay, we call it as a cyclonic storm. Then if here it is there, then it is going to be called as a severe cyclonic. It is going to be called as a severe cyclonic storm. If this is there, then it is going to be called as a very severe cyclonic storm. Very severe cyclonic storm. And if greater than 221 speed is going to be there, then it is going to be called as a super cyclones. So sometimes you will use this term super cyclones. So super cyclone means greater than 221 km/h. Wind speed is greater than this, then super cyclone. This can cause very extreme damage or catastrophe. Extreme damage or catastrophe can be caused when wind super cyclone occurs. It is highly catastrophic and is of an extreme damage can be caused. Fine. So these are okay, the local names that are given to whom? That are given to the cyclones. Typhoon, Japan, Philippines, Willy Willy, Australia, Hurricane, Atlantic, cyclone in Indian Ocean. And these are when we are going to call it as a cyclone, very severe cyclone, or super cyclone. Fine. Now another important thing is the naming of cyclones, how the cyclones are named. How the cyclones are named, what is the procedure to name a cyclone, naming of such cyclones. Clear? So when the cyclones originate in Indian Ocean region, what is there? When cyclones originate, let's say in this region, Indian Ocean region, what can be there? It can affect whom? Here lies, okay, which one, which country? Myanmar. Then you can see, okay, Thailand. Here lies the Thailand. It can affect, okay, whom? Sri Lanka also. It can affect whom? Bangladesh also. It can affect whom? India also. If it originate in this region, we discuss cyclone can also originate in what? Arabian Sea region. In case of India, why? Because we discuss Indian Ocean is not connected with what? Poles, and that's why no polar current comes. Okay, so that's why in India it can either originate either on the eastern side also, or can originate on the western side also. So if it is originating in western side, can affect Pakistan, can affect Iran, can affect, okay, other African countries also, Arabian region also, like UAE, like Saudi Arabia. Those countries can also be impacted. Clear? So problem is, let's say if cyclone originate here, India can name this cyclone. Let's say cyclone, India is calling this as a cyclone A. Bangladesh can call it as what? The same cyclone, Bangladesh can refer it as what? Cyclone B. The same cyclone, the Sri Lanka can call it as what? Sri Lanka can call it as a B. Bangladesh can call it as a C. Same cyclone, they can call it with the different names. Clear? So when same cyclones are being called with a different name, what is happening? There's going to be confusion in study. When you want to study the cyclone, there is a confusion because different names are there. You don't know which name is which name is going to be the correct one for which cyclones. Clear? So different confusions are going to be there. Clear? That's why the World Meteorological Organization has given this responsibility to India to name the cyclones in what? To name the cyclones in a Indian Ocean region. So basically there is a regional meteorological centers has been created in New Delhi. Regional meteorological centers has been created in New Delhi, which is responsible for naming of cyclones originating in what? Originating in the Indian Ocean region. Clear? So Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, has set up a regional meteorological center in New Delhi, which is responsible for naming of the cyclones in Indian Ocean region. Clear? How these are being named? This regional meteorological center collects name from every country. They collect name from every country. They collect name from India also, Bangladesh also, Thailand also, Sri Lanka also, Pakistan also, Saudi Arabia also, UAE also. Every country which is being impacted by the cyclone, they'll collect the name from every country. And then what will happen? One name will be given to one cyclones. which is coming from different countries. Clear? So this is how we name the cyclone. This is how we name the cyclones. Fine. So what you see is how the tropical cyclones are being named. Tropical cyclones are being named by the regional meteorological center. Why we have created this regional meteorological center? To avoid confusion in what? To avoid confusion in studying the cyclone that is okay there. If same cyclone is going to be called with a different name, then problem is there. That's why we are creating regional meteorological center, and it is created where? It is created in the New Delhi. This is responsible for naming of the cyclones that are originating in what? Originating in the Indian Ocean region. So how this naming procedure is there? As we discussed, all the country which are impacted by whom? Impacted by the cyclones, they will submit the name to the regional meteorological center, and one name, alphabetical orders will choose it. That is how the naming of cyclones are being done. Fine. So if you see, so currently, after April 2020, country has submitted certain names. Clear? So countries have submitted certain names. You can see here in alphabetical orders, countries are kept. So you see Bangladesh start with B and Yemen starts with what? Y. So alphabetical order countries are something that are there. Bangladesh, India, Iran, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sri Lanka, Thailand. So whichever countries that are impacted by the cyclones in the Indian Ocean region, they are being arranged in what? They are being arranged in alphabetical order. Each country are submitting one names. Each country is submitting what? One names. And let's say cyclone occurs, we'll name cyclone with this name. Then next cyclone occurs, then what will happen? Next country name will be chosen. Then next cyclones occur, next country name will be chosen. Next cyclones occur, next country name will be chosen. If this is exhausted, then we'll go to what? Then we'll go to nothing but okay, next set of nothing but okay name. Then we'll go to what? Next set of nothing but okay name. Then we'll go to next set of name. This is how the cyclones are being named in what? These are how cyclones are being named in the Indian Ocean region. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So how now naming of cyclones are being done? As we discussed, World Meteorological Department has given this responsibility to whom? To the India to rename it. In India, we have created what? Regional Meteorological Center. This Regional Meteorological Center collects name from whom? Collects name from every country. And then when cyclone occurs, we give one name to what? One name to the cyclone that is okay there. Once we have reached the end, then next set of names are going to be taken, then next set of names are going to be taken, then next set of names are going to be taken. These are the names that have been submitted by whom? Submitted by the country. So currently the last cyclones, okay, that has been occurred has been named as what? The last cyclone that has been occurred has been named as Cyclone Fengal, Cyclone Shakti. These are the cyclone that has occurred. These are the last cyclones, okay, that has been named. The next cyclone that is going to occur is going to be named as what? Next cyclone that is going to occur will be named as Montha. Montha is a name given by whom? Montha is a name given by whom? Thailand. So in prelims, you can get this type of question, that which country have named the recent cyclone. Clear? So you have to remember the recent cyclone names and which country has given those particular names, that you have to keep in mind. Clear? So as we discussed, last two cyclones are what? Cyclones Fengal and Cyclone Shakti. Cyclone Fengal name was given by whom? Saudi Arabia. Cyclone Shakti name was given by whom? Sri Lanka. These were the last two cyclones. The next cyclone that is going to be called as what? Montha. Montha is the name given by whom? Name given by Thailand. Fine. So when Cyclone Shakti has occurred, we discussed the most recent is Fengal and Shakti. So when Cyclone Shakti has occurred, Cyclone Shakti has occurred this year in the month of May. This has occurred this year in the month of May. While you will see the cyclone Fengal has occurred last year in the month of November, December. So you can see this cyclone Shakti. You can see cyclone Shakti forming over Bay of Bengal when it has formed in the month of May. Clear? It has formed when? It has formed in the month of May. So IMD has confirmed formation of this one. So this when cyclone Shakti has come in the month of May. Which region it has impacted? Which region it has impacted? In India, they have impacted what? They impacted the Kolkata, Odisha, those region it has impacted. Okay, so in India, cyclone Shakti has affected whom? Cyclone Shakti has impacted the West Bengal portion and Odisha portion. This is impacted by the cyclone Shakti. So this is the latest cyclone that has been occurred, cyclone Shakti. Previous to this, what has been occurred? Cyclone Fengal. So previous to this has occurred cyclone Fengal. We discussed when cyclone Fengal has occurred last year in the month of November, December. So you can see this has occurred in 2024 in the month of what? So what you see is it has occurred in November 2024, 14 November. You'll see this is something that is forming, and that's how cyclone Fengal has occurred. Clear? It has impacted which region? It has impacted more of nothing but Sri Lanka, Malaysia. Those regions are something that are being impacted by the Fengal cyclones. Fine. Tamil Nadu also was impacted by whom? Fengal cyclones. Clear? So this is the early cyclone. So we discussed now these two names have been already used. Who has given the names? We discussed the Shakti name is given by whom? Sri Lanka. Yes. Okay. Shakti name is given by whom? Sri Lanka. And Fengal name was given by whom? Saudi Arabia. So these two cyclones have occurred. The next cyclone is going to be named as what? Montha. So just note down these from here to here, from Dana to Ditwa. You can note down the names. Okay, from Dana to Ditwa, you can note down these names. So Dana is given by whom? Dana is given by the Qatar. Then you can write Fengal given by Saudi Arabia. Shakti given by Sri Lanka. Up to this, has been occurred. Then Montha, Senyar, and Ditwa. These are the next three names, next three cyclones. Montha, Senyar, and Ditwa. Montha given by Thailand, Senyar by UAE, and Ditwa is given by Yemen. Fine. So as an objective, if you are also appearing for IB, so objective question can come like this, that which country has named cyclone Shakti? India, Sri Lanka, Saudi Arabia, Thailand, those options can be given. So those type of questions you can get in the case of examinations. Fine. So this is how cyclones are being named. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So we discussed how cyclones are being named. Who has the responsibility to name cyclones? We discussed Regional Meteorological Center created in New Delhi has the responsibility to name what? Responsibility to name the cyclones. How it is naming the cyclones? How it is naming the cyclones? It is collecting names from what? All the countries which are there in the Indian Ocean and impacted by the cyclones. Clear? These countries are arranged in which order? Alphabetical order. Each country will submit names. And once, what will happen? This name list will exhausted. The next set of name, then that will exhausted. Then what will happen? Next set of names will be there. So this is how we try to name the cyclones. So this is how we try to name the cyclones. Clear? So what we have discussed with regard to tropical cyclone is definition. What is the definition for tropical cyclone? Tropical cyclone definition? Yeah, originating in the oceans in which region? Tropical areas. Tropical areas means what? Torrid zone. Yes. So maximum 10 to 30 degree we have written. Why? Because sometimes shifting of pressure belt can occur. That's why we have written 10 to 30 degree. That is where the tropical cyclone will originate. What it is going to cause? It is going to cause violent wind, squall, storm surge, and violent wind, squall, storm surge, and torrential rainfall. So it is going to cause destruction because of these events. Next, okay, what we have written. Next, tropical cyclones. Tropical cyclones originate only at what? Oceans. They will not originate where? At the equator, because Coriolis force is not there. They will always originate on which side of the continent? Eastern side of the continent. Why? Because eastern contain warm oceanic current and west contains what? Cold oceanic current. And for cyclone to occur, what is required? Warm sea surface is required. Clear? So conditions also we have discussed. Also we have discussed the tropical cyclones will what? Tropical cyclones will always forms, or most of the time it forms in the late summer month, because ocean takes times to what? Ocean takes times to heat. So that's why you see we have written generally what? Generally late August to November. When is the period of tropical cyclone? So you see cyclone Fengal, when it was formed? It was formed in the November month, we have written. So that cyclone generally forms in the late summer month. Fine. Then we have discussed structure. What is structure? Eyeball and spiral band or rain band. Then what is the formation? Early stage, mature stage, and dissipating stage. Early stage, the pre-existing low pressure, then multiple convective cells will form there when the mature stage, and dissipating stage is when it struck the land part. Fine. Then we discussed local names. What is the Willy Willy name? Where Willy Willy name is used? Australia. Typhoon, where it is used? Japan. Hurricane, where it is used? In the Atlantic Ocean. So what you see is there you are finding these names being used, local names, and how particular cyclones are being named, which is occurring in the Indian Ocean. Through these procedure, we are naming the cyclones. Any doubt regarding this one? So this finishes your tropical cyclone. We'll start with temperate cyclone in the next class. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? Thank you. Thank you for today.